Hi Cupcakes. Today I'm going to show you something really exciting. I'm going to show you how to calculate your 2016 year card and also going to give you just a little bit of information about what your year card means for you in 2016. So this is something that if you're not aware of year cards in tarot or you haven't worked your year card out yet, could be really interesting for you to stick around and take a look at. Everybody has a birth card and everybody has a name card, and there are a few different kinds of cards that pertain to different things. And your year card is just basically a card from the Major Arcana that is supposed to represent the underlying themes and energies of a particular year. So you have a tarot card for this year and you will have a tarot card for 2016, and it's pretty much gone on like that every year of your life. This year was a Chariot year for me, and I can confirm that that was very much correct. There was a lot of momentum, it was very fast moving, it was very much about determination and homing in on my priorities. 2016 is going to be a strength card for me, and I have my own ideas about what I think that means as well. And I think one thing that's helpful about learning what your year card is for the year ahead is that it just gives you a chance to think about the main things that you want to learn and focus on and address over the year ahead, you know, the year that's coming. I do not read tarot from an overtly predictive perspective. So I don't believe that everything's already written in stone, your fate is set, and all you need is for a tarot reader to come along and like lift that veil with their magic powers that you don't have access to, and then the tarot reader can act like a soothsayer and tell you what is going to come into being. I don't believe in that personally, and I also think if I did believe in that, I would be really sad because it sounds supremely disempowering. I do believe that some things are beyond our control, and I do believe that, you know, something can blindside you on a wet Wednesday and there's nothing you can do about it. I believe in chaos, I believe in mishaps, I believe in disaster, I believe in all that shit that you can't really change on your own or manifest your way out of. But I also believe in co-creation, and I sincerely believe in being the author and the captain of your life, the author of the book of your life, the captain of the ship of your life. So I read tarot from that perspective. I help people to empower themselves and select the priorities that they want to get to grips with and work on techniques and strategies to help them get where they want to be. I also use tarot to help people to psyche dive and to heal trauma and to do shadow work and all that good shizzle. So I kind of look at my year card from the perspective of lessons that I can expect or seek out, opportunities that I might want to consider, and the ways in which my core personality and my sense of myself might be able to expand and grow and harmonise more in the coming year. So I think of it from that perspective. I think of it in terms of what I could potentially learn and how I can use the year card to grasp those lessons and harness those opportunities and get me further down the road. I don't look at my year card and think, oh my god, I'm going to have that kind of year and there's nothing that I can change and there's nothing I can do about it. You know, I don't worry about it like that. I use it far more as a talisman for empowerment. Obviously, I very much encourage you to do the same thing with the discovery of your year card. Doing this does not mean that you have to be proficient in tarot, because once you have calculated your year card, which is very quick and simple to do, you will be able to find at the end of the video a quick description for each of the 22 Major Arcana cards. So once you've calculated your year card, I will give you a little bit of a suggestion as to what it could potentially mean and what kinds of things it could have to say to you. I am going to be using the calculation approach, which is outlined in Kim Huggins' Tarot 101. You may have seen other ways of calculating your year card on the internet or in other books. I haven't personally. This is the only one that I've ever seen, and this is the one that I'm going to be using, so just letting you know that. Again, just let me stress, you do not need a tarot deck for this, you do not need to be proficient at tarot, and you can just skip forward to the part of the video where I talk about your particular year card. I hope that this is useful and beneficial, and without further ado, let's get started. Okay honeys, here we go. I'm going to show you how to calculate your year card for 2016 quickly and simply. I'm going to show you by calculating my own birthday as an example for you. Just make sure you've got your calculator at the ready. So first of all, we're going to start with the day of your birth and the month of your birth. For me, that would be the 14th of December, which is the 12th. So we're going to add 14 to 12. I was born on the 14th day of the 12th month. So it's 14 plus 12, nice and easy. And I have reached 26. Now all I'm going to do is take that number, 26, that's very scribbly and ugly there, and I'm going to add 26 to the year that I'm trying to calculate the birth card for, which is 2016. 26 plus 2016, and as you can see, that's come up with 2042. Now what I need to do is I need to take each of the separate numbers in that calculated total, which is 2042, and I need to add them all as individual numbers. So it's 2 plus 4 plus 2, which is 8, and 8 is the number in the Major Arcana that corresponds with my year card. In a standard deck of tarot cards, number 8 is strength, and that means that my year card for 2016 is strength. So that should be a easy way of explaining to you how you calculate your year card. Now, obviously, you may have noticed there are only 22 cards in the Major Arcana in tarot. So you may ask, what happens if the final calculation that I need to reduce down is actually brings me to a number that's over 22? So let me give you this example. Let's say you got 5,990 as your total to be reduced down. And when you reduce it down, it comes to 23, which is actually 1 over the amount of Major Arcana cards that there are in a deck. What you do with that then is you take your number, which is too big, and you reduce it again. So you actually add 2 and 3 to make 5. So let me just explain again. If the total falls above 22, then you need to take the total that has fallen above 22 and further reduce it down. Let me just give you a second example just to make sure that you're absolutely clear on what to do if your number exceeds 22. So I've just added together 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 8. And that's actually landed me at 27, which again is too large of a number. There are only 22 cards in the Major Arcana. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the number 2 and the number 7, and I'm going to actually add them to get my reduced total. So it's 7, 8, 9, and 9 is the Hermit in the Major Arcana in tarot. So it would be the Hermit, that would be your year card. I really hope that I've explained this adequately. Most of you are likely to find that you do not end up with a number that exceeds 22 in the first place, but if you do, I just wanted you to kind of have it kind of adequately explain to you what you do. Now, obviously, when you count from 1 to 22 with the Major Arcana, number 1 is the Magician. The Fool, in fact, is not numbered. The Fool is 0 in a standard tarot deck. So I just want to let you know that 1 is the Magician, 21 is the World, and 22 is the Fool, okay? So the Fool is actually at the end of the Major Arcana for the purposes of this exercise rather than at the beginning. If you find that your total at the end is 1, that means your year card is the Magician, not the Fool. If you find that your total at the end is 22, then that has exceeded the World, which is 21, and you are the Fool. Okay, now I'm just going to separate all the Major Arcana cards so that I can go through and give you guys a little example of what each of them is all about. Okay, honey pies, hopefully you have worked out your year card for 2016 and you're now ready to get just a little bit of insight and information on what that year card could mean for you in 2016. This is super, super exciting. And even if you've already worked out your year card and you have a strong sense of what it means for you, you might still want to listen to a few of these thoughts. Now, I just want to be clear before I begin, I'm giving you guys literally half a minute of insight for each card. I really think the year card is something that you need to explore on your own. It's something that you really need to get a taste for. If you're not proficient at tarot, definitely look up as many of the definitions for your year card as you possibly can. Get into it. You know, start to think more about what you want to achieve in 2016, what you learned in 2015, and how your year card for 2016 might actually apply to you and what it might have to teach you. This is really a personal exploration. It's not for me to say for any individual what the year card means for them or their year ahead. I'm just throwing some ideas into the mix for those who maybe aren't so proficient or feel as though they can't be as objective as they would like and want some other guidance. So let's kick things off with the Magician first, because remember, the Fool is at the back for this exercise. The Fool is number 22. As a year card, the Magician is super exciting. It probably means that you're going to have a year that is to do with lessons about empowerment, lessons about potential, working out what you can do, what you're capable of, what you feel your skills and strengths are. And it's going to be about honing those skills, harnessing those skills to make them as good as they possibly can be. You're also going to learn more about your ability to be out in the world and to make things happen. The Magician could definitely indicate a year of self-belief, self-esteem, and heightened self-awareness for you, but also the beginning of projects and really kind of pulling all of your ideas together so you can start something cool. The High Priestess as a year card could definitely indicate a year when you need to learn to listen to your own inner voice and stop maybe taking so much advice and counsel from other people. It could indicate a year of heightened spirituality, listening to your guides, listening to that higher power. It could definitely indicate a need for patience and a need for the wisdom to understand that sometimes you're not ready to receive the answer yet. So it could indicate that 2016 is a year when you're going to explore your sense of maturity and your sense of being able to wait and be patient and understand that there's a right time for everything. So it could definitely be a divine timing kind of year. The Empress might indicate that 2016 is going to have some themes of love, compassion and nurturing, and that's in your relationships with others as well as your relationship with the planet and with yourself. It could definitely symbolise also a creative year, a year of nurturing your gifts, your talents, your projects and seeing them come to fruition. There are some big archetypes here, the creatrix archetype, the mother archetype, really exploring and getting into what those archetypes mean for you, and also just realising that you are entitled to build something for yourself, and the thing that you build for yourself could be so beautiful and help so many people, but you need to believe you're entitled to build it in order to be able to do so. So 2016 could bring up some messages of that nature. If you're having an Emperor year for 2016, then this is really all about getting into the seat of your power, being your own person, being autonomous and self-governing, taking no shit basically. It's going to be probably a do no harm but take no shit kind of year for you. Decide what kind of realm you want to build and decide not to apologise for the things you want to do with your life, but actually to have that confidence to get out there and just do it. Discipline, commitment and focus could also be big themes for 2016. You know, you've really got to use it or lose it. You've got to home in on what you want and go after it. The Hierophant can also mean discipline and focus and commitment. A Hierophant year could definitely indicate a year of playing by the rules, learning the ropes, learning what you need to know, showing that discipline to be consistent and to keep showing up. So procrastination, time management issues, loss of focus, those things are really going to be worked on in 2016, so get ready for that. The Hierophant could indicate a year of learning, a year of study, a year of really deepening your understanding of things on a very disciplined and almost, I would say, academic level. Whether you're actually going to be studying academic subjects or not, I don't think it matters. This is really about expanding your brain and really grabbing as much brain food as possible. If you're having a lover's year, then it could indicate that your relationship style is very much going to come into focus in 2016. Changes and tweaks where they need to be occurring can be occurring. You're going to have opportunities, possibly through challenges and possibly through just meeting new people, to understand more about the way you operate in the world with others. And this is also a year to really check in with your relationship with yourself, focus on integrating all facets of yourself, not rejecting any part of yourself, and actually just feeling more comfortable in your own skin, and maybe also more comfortable to be vulnerable and open in the world. The Chariot as a year card indicates a time of momentum, so it's going to be fast moving energies. It's going to be you moving full speed ahead, which means you've got to have that sense of direction, you've got to have that sense of what you want. You may have to cooperate and collaborate and correspond with others to get what you want done, but essentially there's a real leadership energy to this card. There's a real sense of knowing what you want and having your mind set and focused on what you want, and there's a sense of just moving at the speed of light. So 2016 is probably going to provide a lot of opportunities for change and for moving into that desired direction, but remember, that's only ever if you take those opportunities, you know. So I think the Chariot is saying, don't stand on the sidelines out of fear, don't be afraid of fear. If strength is your year card, then welcome to my year card. We have the same year card. I think strength is going to be about showing diplomacy and fairness, recognising the best ways to deal with issues and really allowing yourself to deal with them that way instead of dealing with them in maybe more primal and argumentative or disruptive ways. I think it's going to be about taming the beast within, making sure that you stay focused and committed rather than wandering off and, you know, allowing your nose to be attracted by every single scent. Strength can be a time of knuckling down and getting on with what you know is the right pathway for you. The Hermit will most likely indicate a year of spiritual focus, mystical expansion, solitude, getting to know more about the higher realms, the other realms, the spirit realm. The Hermit can indicate that you need to move away from influences in your life that were not helpful in 2015, and that you will have the opportunity to do that, and you will have the opportunity to go within yourself. The Hermit challenges you to be silent, to listen more than you speak, to learn more than you insist that you already understand. If you have the Wheel of Fortune as your year card, then you're probably going to find that there will be opportunities to take risks, to kind of throw your dice in the game of life and see what happens. You might find that you are urged by spirit to be more spontaneous and more adventurous, and you're going to learn lessons from that, so that's going to be really exciting for you. You might feel that you're going to take a few gambles in 2016 and see whether or not they pay off, and I think this card always urges you to remember that whether you lose or you win, you learn a valuable, vital lesson which can always help you to expand and evolve later on. So yeah, the Wheel of Fortune definitely indicates an exciting but sometimes fly by the seat of your pants kind of scary 2016, you know. You could be fighting for what's right in 2016 if you receive the Justice card. You could be seeking more justice and fairness for yourself, more balance and harmony in your life where perhaps in 2015 there wasn't much. But you could also be fighting for the rights of people who can't stand up for themselves and who can't seek justice for themselves. So essentially there is also that crusader kind of role as well, where you use your power for the greater good. You might learn some lessons about reaping what you sow, or about the consequences for prior actions, so that might be quite an interesting exploration for you. The Hanged Man as a year card for 2016 could indicate that you are going to be forced to change your perspective on things, that you're going to come up with a lot of very different ways of seeing things, and you're going to be urged by spirit not to be so rigid, but to actually look at things from another angle. You may also find that you need to slow down a little bit, you know, take some more time to focus, maybe not run full speed ahead so much, but actually think about what you're doing with a little bit more kind of seriousness and wisdom and maturity. And if you're thinking about projects and that kind of thing, then also thinking about it with more sophistication rather than running into it headlong. Death as the 2016 year card means that you're going to learn a lot about evolution and metamorphosis, and it's not always going to be one of those things that you choose consciously for yourself, but rather something that you're going to have to deal with on the fly. And so you're going to be really showing yourself where your strength lies in 2016. You're going to be proving to yourself that you can stand by your own side, reap the wisdom from every lesson, and that you can emerge from chrysalis into butterfly at a moment's notice. You know, you're going to face your challenges with grace. Death is definitely indicating that 2016 could provide opportunities to learn about what can be lost and what can be destroyed, but also what can be gained and created. Temperance could suggest that 2016 is going to be a time of blending and refining your different skills and capabilities, and also your different character traits, so that you can find something that really works for you. So it's going to be about finding that groove in the wood and starting to find that discipline to harmonise and integrate things beautifully. It could also be a year for taking higher guidance and a year for spiritual expansion as well. It's definitely going to be a time for you to think about what is ethically and morally good for you and others. So maybe you're going to be polishing up your principles and ethics, or changing them a little bit, and then doing that good work by bringing those principles and ethics into the world and into your decisions. Don't panic if the devil is your 2016 year card, okay? The devil can often be a symbol of a really meaty shadow work year. So it's a year where you really start to pull those bad habits and those limiting beliefs and those negative cycles out of your pocket and put them on the table and really get honest about them, and start to do real things to challenge your way of seeing the world, and start to integrate those parts of you that maybe before you felt like you had to reject or you felt like you had to hide. This is really a year of getting honest. It's a year of authenticity. It's a year of starting to be the best self that you can be and the most integrated self that you can be. So don't worry about it. It's not all bad. With the Tower as your 2016 year card, you're going to be learning about what's really important. You're going to be forced to put your priorities in the driver's seat, stop thinking about petty concerns and distractions, and destroy anything that isn't working or isn't serving you. So this is really a year of getting serious. And yes, you might find that there are challenges or setbacks that show you that some of the things you thought you could rely on, you can't necessarily rely on all that much. But it's also going to show you, by contrast, those things that you can rely on, those strong foundations that you do have internally and externally that you may not have even been aware of before. So it's really going to be a year of gratitude too, I would say. If you receive the Star as your year card, then your 2016 could be a major time of owning your potential and shining your light in the world for yourself and also for others. It could be a great year for manifesting what you truly desire. It could also be a wonderful year for doing good in the world and showing charity and compassion to other people and being your best self. The star can be about self-love and self-care and self-nurturing too. So if that's something that you struggled with in 2015, you could definitely make leaps and bounds in 2016 to address those issues and get your self-care where it needs to be. And there could be some real divine feminine vibes as well in your spirituality or in your emotional life. It could really be a year of imagination and fantasy and trance and astral travel for you if the moon is your year card for 2016. But it can also potentially be a year to make mistakes, to see things from a skewed perspective, to hold on to your limiting beliefs. So if the moon is your 2016 year card, it tells you that you're going to do amazing things with your mind and you're going to go on some real adventures in your mind. But you're also going to need to check your mind, because your mind could be playing tricks on you or telling you lies. So it's about looking at those things that you believe that are not necessarily true as well, and making sure that you do the work to unhook those limiting beliefs, you know. If you receive the Sun as your 2016 year card, then this could be a year for the inner child. It could be a year to let your joy overflow. It could be a year of heightened consciousness and kind of receiving the vibes of your inner child and your inner artist and your inner playful, delighted, angelic maverick vibe. You know, that could all be coming out with the Sun. But the Sun could also indicate a 2016 of realizing some harsh truths as well. The Sun does illuminate, it does show you what was hidden before, and in the light of that illumination you may also see that everything was not exactly what you thought it was. But it's important to remember that that doesn't have to be bad. It can indeed be very empowering. If you receive Judgment, then 2016 could be a time to really consciously change yourself, to change the way that you view the world, change the things that you think you're capable of. You could change your sense of what injustice means and how to fight it out there in the world. This is about conscious awakening, both spiritual and emotional and mental as well. So this is about you choosing to really have like a new year, new you kind of mentality. And it's also about just being forced to wake up to the way things are, because you can no longer hide away. So Judgment is definitely about making that decision to be the best version of yourself, and also to leave things behind that have not been serving you, if indeed that is what you need to do in 2016. The world suggests that 2016 is going to be a time to use your wisdom. It's going to be a time to embrace the wisdom that you have and use it for the greater good. You're also going to be forced to release things and leave things behind that are actually done with, those old lessons that you really just need to surrender to the past, so that you can get on with the business of being in the now and planning for the future. The world is definitely indicative of a 2016 that is going to be about honouring what you can do and what you know, respecting yourself, respecting your boundaries and limitations, and also understanding that you can urge yourself to exceed anything that you previously thought possible. Finally, if you receive the Fool as your year card, then you could definitely be setting off onto a new adventure, and it's important to take that beginner's mind with you. So let go of your expectations, let go of the things that you think you want or think you know, and approach 2016 from the perspective of the wide-eyed child. You know, just know that you're never going to be fully understanding of what's around the next corner, so you've just got to take it with a sense of adventure and with a sense of openness and willingness to learn. And 2016 could definitely be a time for new projects, new people, new connections, new places, but you've got to have the boldness for that, and you've got to have that wide-eyed child perspective to really allow yourself to have that. So the Fool urges you to hold that energy in 2016. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me and exploring your year card for 2016. Don't forget that if you want to explore previous years, then you can do that by doing exactly the same calculation but selecting the year that you want to look at. So if you want to look at, for example, what your year card was for 2015, exact same calculation but 2015 at the end instead of 2016. And you can also project into the future. You can have a look at, you know, what your year card is going to be in 2017 or 2018. But I will stress to you again that I really do discourage anything overtly predictive. Don't use this system to get you down or make you feel like you can't make changes or anything like that. Use your year card as a talisman of empowerment, as something to give you lessons or provide you with a greater understanding of the context of a particular year, past or future. If you're surprised or excited by the year card that you got for 2016 and you want to let us know what you got and what you think of it, please do let us know in the comments down below. Just a shout out to everybody who also received the Strength card for 2016. I need to sculpt my guns at the office. My first order of business in 2016 is to wrestle a lion. I don't know about anyone else, but that's what I'm going to be doing. Just a couple of things to leave you with. I do offer a birth card reading over on my shop at kellyannemaddox.com. If you would like to know what your birth card is and what it has to say about your core personality and the themes of your life and that kind of thing, then you can click on the link in the doobly-doo and it will take you over to the birth card option on kellyannemaddox.com, so you can give that your consideration if you haven't already purchased one from me. I'm also offering an entire month of exclusive password protected video content all about shadow work during the month of February 2016. Again, you can find all the details in the doobly-doo below. Much love, darlings. Blessed be.